Why, hello there, and welcome back to another episode, or I should say, another faux podcast episode of The Queen's Tales. If you like what you hear today, please hit the like button, share with your friends, comment, and possibly subscribe. Now, today's faux podcast episode, for those of you who are in on the joke, because this is not a real podcast, just wait for me to talk about my life. And I always invite my special co-host guests, my alter ego, myself, Peyton James Cross Jr. Give him a hand. Why, thank you. I'm glad to be back. So, Peyton, what do you have to tell us today? Well, this time, I want to leave my current life, and I want to go back in history again to my childhood. And I want to talk about the Spring Hill school bullying. Okay, or Spring Garden, actually, not Spring Hill, Spring Garden school bullying. So at the time, I'm born and raised, for those of you who don't know, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on the north side. And we had moved frequently because my mother was a police officer. It was one of her biggest dreams, and she actually accomplished it. But it was becoming dangerous, so she decided to quit for her kids' sake. Because she was a single parent. She didn't have a man in her life to look after us and watch over us and make sure we were safe. A lot of times, unfortunately, she would have to leave us alone to fend for ourselves while she went to work, because there was no other choice for her. She couldn't always afford a babysitter, because contrary to popular belief, even though police officers do make pretty good money, it's not as much money as people or the kids at school thought. The kids at school thought that my mother made good money because she was an officer. She made okay money, but she didn't. We were not well off. We weren't well off by any means. We lived in a project. You know what I'm saying? She was able to get herself a house or so, but we weren't well off. It was me. Mama had 3 kids with her. The other kid was taken away, unfortunately, because her father dishonestly proved her in court for her first child as a unfit mother, and somehow the courts bought it. But anyway, that's another story for another day. We're here to talk about the Spring Garden bullying. So we moved again, and this time it was 2nd grade in elementary school. And I went to a new school called Spring Garden because it was right there, and it was right there in the neighborhood. Now, there was a kid, and I'm not going to say what his name was because we are grown adults. Okay, we are grown adults now. That was long time ago. He's probably a different person now, whatever. We were kids. But I'm just going to call him Donald. Donald always creeped me and my brother out because we knew that he was a bully. We could feel him when he was in the room. And so every day we had to walk home. Our mamas couldn't come get us because she was busy out there in the police force fighting crime. So we had a key to get ourselves into the house. And so we walked. And we usually had to walk up this big old, because we have a lot of hills in Pittsburgh. So you'll be driving down, walking up hills. So we had this big hill to walk over. But as we're walking over this hill, somebody is walking behind us. And it's not like nobody else has to walk the same direction as we do, but very few actually do. And it's me and my little brother, Brandon. And as we're walking, we turn around and there he was, the school bully. And we didn't know what to do. Like, we're like only like, what? I was like 9 at the time. And he was like 7. And I think the school bully was like, I don't know how old he was. 11, 12. Anyway. I still can remember how it, even though it's been years, how it felt when he was behind us. So we were frightened out of our asses. Even though there's 2 of us, we could take him on, but I wasn't really that tight. I was more of a lover, not a fighter. I was more sensitive, very sensitive. And, I just didn't have fight in me. If anything, I was more of a crier. Yeah. I was more like a lady than I was anything else. Let's be honest. So, he literally grabbed my shoulder and then he begins to assault me. By taking his fist and punching me repeatedly. Where was my brother during this? Trying to get him off me. I mean, eventually he did get on. Eventually he did get him off me, and we just started like running up that hill. We started running. We ran down the hill. We ran until we got home. got into our house, locked the doors. And we had to face that school bully every day. Or at least 5 days a week. Sometimes I beg my mother to not go to school because I did not want to have to deal with him or his abuse. So my mother took action. She went to the school, talked to the school principal, yada, yada, yada. And eventually the school principal talked to the bully's mother or parents. But that didn't quite work. That didn't quite work. It just made me more of a target for him. And so every day I had to devise another plan and another way to go to get home where he wasn't following us, where he didn't know the path that we were going to take to get home. And even our mother sometimes made it a point to be able to shift her schedule around to come get us so that we're not constantly dealing with the bully after school. It's one thing to deal with him when he's at school, because now the principal and things are alerted. But then it's another thing to deal with him after school ended. And this is obviously elementary, my dear. This is school. But yeah. So eventually my mother packed it up and we moved to a new place eventually. New school, new neighborhood, new beginnings. We moved to Horace Mann. The school was called Horace Mann. The man responsible for the current education system that we still have today. Horace Mann Elementary. And by this time, I was in the 4th grade, I believe. Yeah. Something like that. But it seemed no matter where I went, there was always somebody else. And why did they choose me? Because I was not like the other boys. I was a lot more feminine. I had a feminine sounding voice like I do today. And folks, listen, And yes, I'm about to basically kind of give you a guess of my age now. This was back in the 90s, folks. The 90s. Anybody remember those times? Raise your hand. Anyway. School kid in the 90s, honey. And if you were anything different back then, you were certainly going to get negative attention and possibly death. So, and at this time, I didn't even know that I was gay, but the other kids kept calling me that. And so one day during kickball at recess, I think it was recess, yeah, something like that, or after recess, whatever. One of the boys that I was the class that I go to class with named code name. What's the code name for him? Oh yes, the code name is Lorian Stable. Lorian Stable literally punched me clean across my face. And what did I do? Well, I was a princess at the time. So I cried hysterically. And everybody, and when they would come to the other classmates would come to console me, I would just cry even more. And so the moral of this story is don't be weak, especially as a male. Grow a backbone. Get some confidence. Even yes, though we were still kids. Just be able to stand up for yourself. Don't be crying. Don't be whatever. I mean, like I said, I didn't have a father in my life. You know, he was, none of us did. None of the kids did. She was by herself raising her kids. So there's a lot of things that she could not teach a man how to be because she wasn't a man. Doesn't matter what your sexuality is. A man needs to be able to, or male, whatever. Doesn't matter what you call yourself, what your sexuality is. A man needs to be able to defend male, whatever. The male sex, gender needs to be able to defend himself in this cold world on all levels. But yeah, by the way, let us know if you had any school bullies or if you're currently dealing with a school bully now because you're in school for whatever reason. Let us know in the comment section. But that's all I have for you. Well, folks, that was certainly a chilling story. Give him a hand. All right. So, before we go, for those of you who are not into electronic dance music, I want to thank you so much. Before you go, make sure you hit that like, that comment. Excuse me. That like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Before you go, for those of you who are into electronic dance music, stay right here. Don't you go nowhere. We have our social medias. Yes. But what I really want you to focus on is the email list, because email is king till this day. Get on the email list by going to my website. It's the easiest way to get on it. At Peyton30.com. Right here at the top. Right here at the top. And it's easy. There's a button right on the front screen. You're going to hit the button. You're going to put your name and stuff in and all of that jazz. Well, actually, no. Once you hit the button, it's going to take you to a landing page. You want to click on the button to get your 3 free EDM bangers. You're going to put your best email in. And if you want to, you can put your phone number in. You don't have to, but it's a nice personal touch. And just in case something goes wrong with your email, like your mailbox is too full, or your storage is too full on Google or whatever service you have, you can no longer receive emails. Right? Not going to hit you with a text to the phone about what I need you to know. And then you can communicate with me, through the emails predominantly. So thank you so much. Once again, give yourself a hand. Give yourself a hand. And I'll see you on a new episode of The Queen's Tales. I'm out. This has been Peyton 3.0. And this has been Peyton James Cross Jr. See ya.